Hello, my name is Richard Kearns, and today I'm going to be talking to you about global warming. Global warming is something that the Earth has been dealing with for a long time. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what global warming is, how it affects our planet, and what we can do all in our lives to help slow it down. Global warming is something that has been around for a long time, but something that we will continue to deal with in our lives. What is global warming? In my own words, I would describe global warming as the overall increase in the Earth's temperature over time. According to an article written by National Geographic on February 21st, 2024, they state, global warming is the long-term warming of the planet's overall temperature. To put it into perspective, think of it like an oven. When you turn on the oven and leave the door closed, the heat builds up inside. That is basically what's happening with our Earth. The carbon and other gases are building up, creating heat, and the heat isn't able to escape. Global warming is a product that is caused by creating things such as carbon emissions. Think about when you drive your car. Whenever your car is on, it lets out CO2 emissions that go up into the air and get trapped into our atmosphere. CO2 is part of something we call greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are things like gases, chemicals, or particles that can't escape the Earth's atmospheric level. Since they can't escape, this in turn causes the warming of our planet, or global warming. We can also call this the greenhouse effect, which is the effect that I just described a second ago. CO2 isn't the only greenhouse gas that can cause global warming. According to a journal written by author Zhukov Anatoly in 2020, they state, water vapor is the main source of the greenhouse effect. This is because water vapor comes from a lot of different sources. For example, it can come from burning wood or even water evaporation from our ecosystems. So what's the issue? The issue is that global warming is something that's affecting our planet. Have you noticed the really mild winters we've been having lately? Or even the really, really hot summers? What about the ice glaciers melting? This is all caused by the continued warming of our planet. Global warming is a concept that was started a long time ago. According to a book written by Mark Maslin on November 27, 2008, he states, it is now over 100 years since global warming was officially discovered. The pioneering work in 1896 by the Swedish scientist Svante Arrhenius and the subsequent independent confirmation by Thomas Chamberlain calculated that human activity could substantially warm the Earth by adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Since this was written in 2008, you would want to think that global warming is a bit older than Mark stated in his book. The idea was that humans could make the Earth warmer just by making more CO2 emissions, which is where our problem is in today's society. Global warming is something that's going to continue throughout our lives, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop either. According to an article written by author Jeff Tollefson on April 22, 2020, he says, despite a temporary drop in carbon emissions from the 2020 outbreak, countries turned to cheap fossil fuels to revive their economics after the crisis. Carbon emissions soared and temperatures followed, setting the stage for a 5 degrees Celsius warming by the end of the century. This is obviously just a projection of what could happen by the end of the century, but it is also something that is more than likely going to happen just because of the kind of world we live in today. I say this because everyone relies on fossil fuels for something in their lives. Not only that, but carbon emission is also just inevitable since we live in a world of cars and other motor vehicles. To help you guys picture what this is going to look like, I have a graph from the same article by Jeff Tollefson. As you can see, by the end of the century, our temperature increase is going to be so high. Alright, so what can we do to help? Global warming is something that we're going to have to continue to deal with for the foreseeable future. It isn't something that's just going to go away overnight, but it's something that will slow down if we push ourselves in the right direction. There are many things that we could do to slow down global warming. According to a book written by author Bill Gates in 2020, he states, we need to deploy the tools we already have, like solar and wind, faster and smarter. With this, he's basically saying that we need to rely more on solar and wind power instead of the things that cause carbon emissions. For example, instead of using gas to power your house, you could use solar power. In turn, this would create less amounts of carbon emissions that are going up into the atmosphere. There are other great ways to help slow down global warming. One of these ways is by using hydrogen as fuel. According to a journal written by author Kanan Akar on November 23, 2018, they state, hydrogen can become a promising fuel for sustainable transportation by providing clean, reliable, safe, convenient, customer-friendly, and affordable energy. The use of hydrogen instead of fossil fuels would help slow down the amount of carbon emissions that are going into the atmosphere, and in turn would slow down the process of global warming. Now, to wrap up, we talked about what global warming is, how it affects our planet, what is projected to happen if we don't slow down. I hope that you can take away something from the speech and apply it to your own lives. Thank you for listening.